Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in for the last episode of our Essential Oil series. We have all the postnatal care for yourself, but also for baby. We've got joining us live Patti and Angelique, so thank you guys for coming in for this last episode.
You can download the free PDF guide with all the tips, including today's perineum healing wonder pad. So just click the link below after this video.
A lot of new moms, and I know that I absolutely struggled with breastfeeding at the beginning. Not so much for the baby latching on, but actually in milk production. And a lot of women complain that they're not actually producing a lot of milk for baby, and that can be very stressful for them. Is there any kind of tips that you could give us for that?
You know, the obvious ones are you want a super healthy diet while you're pregnant so that your body has tons and tons of nutritional stores to draw on to continue to nourish baby after the birth. So that's number one. Number two is get hydrated after the birth. When your baby is born, you begin to lose a lot of fluid, right? Not just amniotic fluid and blood, but the tissue, the liquid, the fluid that your body has been storing throughout your pregnancy is going to start to be released. So this is big changes happening in your body. You need to drink lots of nourishing liquid, right? So like raw juice, as well as lots of water, nourishing herbal teas. You can do all of those things. So make sure that you're doing those things to start. Then some women are prone to a low milk supply. And so there is one essential oil that you want to avoid if you have a risk of low milk supply, and it's actually peppermint. Now, this is only true of women who are experiencing low milk supply or who in the past have experienced it. So you might assume that you could be experiencing it again. So just avoid peppermint or any blends that have peppermint in them. But for most women, like I used peppermint absolutely fine. Milk supply was never an issue for me, and that was of no concern. So again, it depends on the woman, right? But essential oils can be extremely effective as you begin breastfeeding. So if your milk comes in and you become engorged, then there's that painfulness, right? So you can use essential oils to relieve that pain. The best one to use is actually lavender. So you would put some lavender with your coconut oil and just rub that right onto your breast tissue. You can do it immediately after every feeding, right? So you let the baby stay on as long as baby wants because you're draining the milk. That's good. And in those early days, every minute that the baby's at the breast is going to improve your milk supply. So even though you may feel like you're engorged, you still need to let the baby stay at the breast as long as possible to ensure milk supply in the future. So let the baby stay at the breast as long as baby wants, and then you apply the lavender with coconut to both sides to your breast tissue. Now, baby's probably not going to feed again after a good feed, right, for maybe a couple hours. So you don't have to worry too much about the essential oil getting onto the baby. It's going to absorb into your skin. You've used only 1 or 2 drops with the coconut oil. It's a very small amount. It's going to absorb very, very well. And then if you find after that initial engorgement period that milk supply is low, that baby does not seem to be satisfied, okay? Well, number one thing is let baby stay at the breast as long as they want, both sides, every feeding. So do that first before you try any other remedies. That's the most important thing. But then with essential oils, the ones that you can use are actually fennel. Fennel has that beautiful licorice aroma. So fennel and basil. Basil also has that beautiful aroma. And then the clary sage. Now that might surprise you. Remember we were talking about clary sage for progesterone levels to help you to stay pregnant in the very early phases, right at conception. And then clary sage at the end to help strengthen and continue contractions when you know your body is starting to go into labor. But clary sage in general is great for women's hormones. So of course we need those good milk producing hormones, right, to be circulating in our bodies as we need them. So those three, your clary sage, your basil. Basil is also going to give some relief for engorgement, so that's good as well. It's also highly antibacterial, so that's also very good for reducing the risk of mastitis or plugged ducts. Okay, so you want that. And then fennel itself is very good for milk production, for helping those blood cells to switch into milk cells so that baby is fully nourished. So those are the three. And what I would do is take 1 drop of each in my hand with some coconut oil, right? Rub it onto both breast tissue after every feeding, and whatever's left on your hands, because you could still have some left, just go ahead and put on the bottoms of your feet. Okay, just let it become systemic on the bottoms of your feet. And then, you know, when you're dressed again, you know, some of the essential oil is going to become residue on your clothes. That's no big deal, right? It's still helping you. And again, you don't have to worry too much about it getting onto baby, even if it touches baby's mouth. Like once it's absorbed on your skin for an hour or two, you should be fine.
What are your tips for a speedy recovery?
You want to keep your immune system really high during this post-birth stage, right? Your body's really vulnerable. So frankincense, remember we talked about it in the last episode, frankincense is your best friend during this period. It is super good for pain, inflammation, and your immune system. So a little bit on the bottoms of your feet every day, or rubbed on the back of your neck. You want to do that all the time. You also want to put some essential oils in your diffuser. So some citrus oils with frankincense are a great idea, or some of the herb oils, things like thyme and basil and rosemary. These are also all really good for your immune system. Use them with the citrus oils, put them in your diffuser, be breathing them in all the time. You got to keep your immune system really high during this time. So talking about recovering from birth itself. Okay, frankincense, still your best friend. Okay, here's what you're going to do. Now, I'm a big proponent of natural cotton reusable menstrual products, okay? But if you're not using those and you're still using the disposable ones, either one will work. What you want to do is soak the pads in some water with frankincense, melaleuca, and lavender. So, you know, in a bowl of water, put about 2 drops each of frankincense, lavender, and melaleuca, or that's tea tree, same thing. Okay, and maybe a teaspoon of coconut oil. Okay, just let it all, you know, stir it all together, and put your pads in there, and then take them out and put them on a cookie sheet and stick them in the freezer. So after a vaginal birth, this is your best friend. Your perineum swelling, your tissue.
You're gonna call it a wonder pad. Yeah.
You will die for this. It feels so amazing. I'm speaking from experience, ladies. Trust me on this one.
5 kids. Okay. Hats off.
Listen. You are bruised, you are swollen, you might be torn, you might have stitches, right? But even without a tear or stitches, you are bruised and swollen. This tissue is traumatized, okay? So you want to heal it up, especially if there's another baby in your future. Okay, you want this tissue to be all healed and protected. So you're going to use those pads as often as you want. You're not going to wear it all day. You're going to put it on. It's going to unthaw, right? As you're laying in bed, maybe nursing your baby or resting, right? And then you're just going to remove it and go back to a regular pad for absorbency, right? For your discharge. But you want to do this as often as you can, starting right from as soon as you've given birth. Okay, so definitely do that. Then the next thing you want to have is the kind of spray bottle that you squeeze for the water to come out. Okay, so a perineum bottle. I don't know if you have them the same in the UK as we do, but we actually have something called a perineum bottle. Okay, so it's just a soft plastic bottle that you can squeeze that the water comes out of. So you're going to use lukewarm water and 1 drop each, lavender, tea tree, and frankincense. And every time you use the bathroom, you're going to squeeze the whole bottle over your entire perineum and tissue, everything. Okay, squeeze it off. So it's keeping you clean, which is really good because you've got a lot of discharge happening. If you have stitches, you're keeping your stitches clean. You're reducing the inflammation and the swelling. You're relieving the pain, believe me. So use that every time you use the bathroom, and then use the pads in between, for the frozen pads, for additional pain relief. If you have an incision, right, if you have an incision from a cesarean birth, then it's still the same oils: lavender, peppermint, or not peppermint, lavender, frankincense, and tea tree oil, okay? And you're going to mix it with some coconut oil, and you're going to just use it around your incision, okay? Where
you're not touching the stitches, you're waiting till they come out.
Right, you're going to put it around that area to reduce the inflammation, to prevent any risk of infection, and to aid with the healing. Yeah, so using it around your incision, and you can start using that right away. Okay, now the other source of pain for repeat moms, not so much on your first baby, but for every baby after, are the afterpains. Do you know about those?
Well, when your uterus is contracting?
So especially when you're breastfeeding in the first 72 hours and your uterus is going back to its regular size, right? And it hurts like crazy, okay? So your best friend is clary sage. Clary sage supports the uterus and ovaries, and you just want to rub that across your belly. Now, what I actually did is, when I was nursing my little newborn and laying down nursing, if you can learn that, to breastfeed in a laying down sideline position, that's your best friend, because then you don't have to move, right? Yeah. And it's so much easier on your body than sitting up after vaginal birth. It can be so painful. So I would just, as soon as she latched on, I had my essential oils there, and I just rub it across my belly, and it really, really relieves the pain, because it's incredibly intense.
And you get those contractions when you breastfeed. It actually triggers that whole one of the benefits of breastfeeding, because you want everything to go back to how it was before.
Right, but you want to not be in agony. Support that muscle, because you want it to go back to its tiny size. Absolutely, that's good and healthy, and it will help you to bleed less the faster your uterus can contract back to its regular size. But help yourself, right? Instead of looking at using drugs when you're newly breastfeeding to manage that pain, use your clary sage. And if you need a little more than that, then add some frankincense too. A drop of frankincense, a drop of clary sage, your coconut, rub it on.
Sleep better as well, because your whole body is more relaxed. You're in a more comfortable position. And the whole breastfeeding malarkey, because it is difficult for some people. It's difficult to get baby to latch on, difficult for the milk to let down. And the more relaxed you are, the more you can control you feel of your own recovery. What are your tips then for, especially in these early days with a baby under 6 months, from newborn onwards, to get a really good night's sleep for yourself, but also for baby?
Okay, so we've talked a lot in this episode about lavender, tea tree, and frankincense, okay? And then in the previous episode, I also talked about myrrh, right? Put that on your skin. Those oils are still all your best friends during this period. So frankincense is great for calming the mind and reducing irritability. Lavender is fantastic for calming and relaxation. Myrrh just supports the whole body, reducing inflammation, reducing stress, right? These are the things that you want. And then melaleuca is supporting your immune system. It's really good antiviral, antifungal, right? So you want to continue to use those. So any of those 4 oils in any combination is going to benefit you in terms of sleep and relaxation. Now, lavender is a great baby oil. Okay, you can put the tiniest amount of lavender on your baby's belly to reduce gas. Another one would be orange. Wild orange can also help to relieve gas in a baby. Or Roman chamomile as well, calming and also good for the digestive system. So the 2 things you're really thinking about with your baby when it comes to sleep and fussiness, right, are relaxation, right, de-stressing for the baby, because let's face it, life on the outside is hard, right? It's stressful for baby. Right? So mommy needs to not be stressed, okay? So use your essential oils to stay calm, and then let baby experience that calming benefit as well. So a couple really easy ways to use essential oils with baby. Number one, put the essential oils on mommy, okay? So a little bit on your hands, rub it onto your chest, hold your baby. Okay, let baby sleep right with you. Baby's breathing in the essential oils on mommy. Super good for that bonding experience and for baby to feel the relaxation that comes from being with mommy, right?
Yeah. That whole skin to skin contact is so important. And just that, the touch therapy, just having either not even having to necessarily massage in with a real technique, but just the hugs, the cuddles, the gentle stroking, all of that. Your body here, I imagine, is going to help that evaporate.
So put your essential oils on your chest or on the back of your neck and keep baby close, okay? So that you're benefiting and baby's benefiting at the same time. Another great tip for baby is put a drop in the bath. So you can do this, not even a whole drop. You can just kind of rub your finger around the outside of the bottle and then put your fingers in the bath to swish it around. You don't even need a whole drop in a bath with a baby, okay? Because baby has really sensitive skin. Do not, please, use scented baby products on your baby. Baby skin does not want that. Those are fragrances. They are synthetic. Baby is so perfect. Let's not put those toxic things onto the baby. So a little bit in the bath is great, and then your diffuser. Now, if your baby is whether your baby is sleeping in your bedroom or in their own bedroom, you can run the diffuser. It's completely safe. I would say keep the door to the bedroom open so that the airflow is there, but baby is still benefiting. And really, when you're using super high quality therapeutic essential oils like doTERRA essential oils, 2 drops, maybe 3 in a diffuser, run it for an hour where baby is sleeping, and that's enough.
Would you be using these same combinations for other baby problems like colic or teething pains specifically?
Yeah, okay, so lavender and frankincense are both analgesic. So you can apply directly to baby's jaw to help relieve pain and inflammation from teething, or on bottom of baby's feet, if that's what you prefer, because then once you put on baby's little socks or sleeper, right, there's no risk of them getting the essential oil in their hands and then rubbing their eyes. Then you just want to be aware of them not getting the essential oil in their eyes. But you can absolutely apply to the jaw, especially, as baby is falling asleep, right? Then they're not going to be rubbing their face and rubbing their eyes. So, just be conscientious and cautious about that, but it's extremely effective for teething. Digestive issues, I talked about rubbing it right on the belly. Oh, diaper rash. Okay, Melaleuca is your best friend because diaper rash is almost always candida, right? Candida is yeast. What's yeast? A fungus. So you want your Melaleuca, your tea tree oil, for its antifungal properties, okay? And it's very simple. You just mix it with your coconut oil and apply in tiny amounts to baby's bottom with every diaper change. In fact, I know a mom whose baby at about maybe 7 or 8 months old had a terrible diaper rash. It was so big, it was on the even outside of the diaper area, right? Like even all the way up to her belly. Wow. And I gave her the tea tree and she put it on the bottoms of her baby's feet when her baby went to bed that night. And the diaper rash was 90% gone in the morning. She didn't even apply it to the diaper area, only on her baby's feet. And that was just a few months ago. Amazing. So
definitely worth trying that. If it's going to have such an instant effect, it's worth trying that before reaching for, a medicated cream.
Absolutely.
Or trying that. Would you put that with a barrier oil, a barrier cream as well? Or would you apply it before your barrier cream or after, or would you just not put any barrier cream on at all?
So I personally never ever used any kind of barrier cream on my babies. Not even whether I was using disposable diapers or cloth diapers, I never ever used them, and diaper rash was actually minimal, right? The key is, if your baby is prone to diaper rash, mommy needs to consume less sugar, okay? Less sugar for mommy because fungus, okay? And then use the essential oils on baby, just tiny bits on the bottom of the feet. Even lavender oil in a bath, lavender has antifungal properties too, not as much as tea tree, but enough to help baby to have less reaction with diaper rashes. And then of course, consider your detergent, right? We want to not be using toxic products that are going to be on baby's skin, right? Consider if any products you're using on yourself, right? Fragranced products that are hair products or skin products. Keep those, don't use those when your baby's not in your arms every day anymore, right? So that we're not irritating baby's skin with any of those. And then, the use of the essential oils is really going to help.
I know there's no time to be taking notes when you've got a little baby glued to you. So don't worry, I've done it for you. Just go ahead and download the PDF guide with the link below.
So we'll see what questions people ask, and hopefully you'd love to come back.